Show, but it's been a very active college football Saturday. Is it just me, or does it seem like this college football season is more hectic than usual? Last year, of course, we had the COVID year. It was different, I guess, but this year is comparable to 2007, that's for sure. So I want to know how everybody's college football Saturday has gone. For me, as a West Virginia fan, it went terrible. About as bad as I could imagine. One of the worst Saturdays as far as college football goes in a long time, in a very long time. This is probably the worst college football Saturday for me since 2007, that last game, 13-9. You know what I'm talking about if you're a West Virginia fan. Score update: Texas A&M is beating number 1 Alabama 24-17. What is going on, people? That makes no sense. You talk about shaking up the playoffs. That would do it. That would definitely do it. Notre Dame trying to somehow beat Virginia Tech on the road. They're down by 1 point. Kentucky taking care of LSU like I thought they would. Georgia dominating Auburn. I thought Auburn would be a little bit of a test for Georgia. Nope. Not even a little bit. Not even kind of, sort of. Georgia dominated that game from start to finish. They went to halftime with a 17-3 lead, so Auburn didn't even have one good half. Not even one. Yes, they somehow scored on Georgia in the second half, but that's about it. 34-10. Got obliterated. And then what about Iowa coming back on Penn State and beating the Nittany Lions? That was a great game to watch. Love it. And I'm especially mad at BYU. So I went against you early in the season, learned my lesson, but then I took an upset last week on the road. But I picked the wrong week. This was the week that BYU was going to get upset at home by a down Boise State team. You let me down. You let me down, BYU. I took you this week, and it bit me right on the rear end. So BYU is the team that I'm not happy with right now. Looks like Texas A&M scored again, 31-17. That is insane. When did Texas A&M get an offense? I thought if Texas A&M was going to win that game, it would be a slugfest. Like somehow they kept Alabama under 2 touchdowns, like 14-13, something like that. If somebody would have told me halfway through the third quarter that Texas A&M was up 31-17 on Alabama, I would have laughed at you. That is incredible. And then what about I was about to say Ohio State. What about Oklahoma? They get down 28-7. They finally switch quarterbacks from Spencer Rattler to Caleb Williams, and they look like a completely different team. This Oklahoma team looks like a playoff team with Caleb Williams. I didn't even know much about this guy other than he probably was going to be the successor of Spencer Rattler whenever he leaves. Nope. It's happening this year, and probably a good thing. Real quick, if y'all would do me a favor and hit that like button so this thing gets suggested more. Get a few more people in here, a few more fan bases in here. Whether they're having a good day, whether they're having a bad day, to vent to you and I, and we can have a good conversation about it. Wake Forest, they stay undefeated, 40-37 on the road. Syracuse in overtime. I know Syracuse is a bad team, but Syracuse is known for beating better teams in the Dome. So that's a good win for Wake Forest. OU going to win 14 to 15 games by less than 10 points. I don't know about that now. Now that they actually have a quarterback, they might actually be able to put up points. So we'll see about that. Cincinnati has a really good argument as long as they keep piling on style points on inferior opponents throughout the rest of the year, because they're really not going to get tested other than SMU at home maybe, and then SMU in the AAC championship. Maybe that'll be a test. I don't know. Besides that, they need to keep doing what they did against Temple and just obliterate everybody 52-3. That's what you need to keep doing. Dumb millennial. What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. I don't recognize the name, so I'm guessing you're new to the show. Hope you enjoy the show. On this one, I'm ranting and yelling like a maniac. Number one, because West Virginia got obliterated at Baylor today. And number two, this has been a crazy college football Saturday. I mean, nuts. Is Michigan State a legitimate playoff contender? They looked like it today. They whooped Rutgers 31-13. Michigan barely beat Rutgers at home. I mean, I know there's no such thing as the transference rule in college football, but, I mean, that's similar opponents, and Michigan State looked way better. What teensy-weensy little hope that BYU had, that went out the window today. You no longer have a chance in the playoffs to get to the playoffs. I think Penn State's still hanging on by a razor-thin hair, even though they lost today. That's not a bad loss. And they do have a tough schedule, so I think if Penn State wins out, they're going to have a shot, especially if they win the Big Ten championship. Kentucky, man, they're looking really, really good against LSU. Problem is, next week, they're going to have to go on the road and survive against Georgia somehow. They're not beating Georgia. I'm talking about survive physically, not get beat up. Georgia has just been beating up people game after game after game after game. Can Kentucky get out of that game without any injuries, without any demoralizing, goose egg on the scoreboard just like Arkansas did? I don't know. I mean, they're looking good against everybody else, but Georgia isn't everybody else. Georgia is the Alabama that we're used to seeing. Georgia is head and shoulders above everybody. It's not Georgia and Alabama then everybody. It's Georgia then everybody, including Alabama is with the everybody's this year. They're not with the elite. They look vulnerable, especially in this game against Texas A&M. Now there's a lot of time. It's only about halfway through the third, and it's not an insurmountable lead, but Georgia's never been in this situation. I know that first game against Clemson, 10-3, no offensive touchdowns. But if you watch the game, they dominated that game too. Even though they only won by a touchdown, they dominated that game as well. So this just might be the year of Georgia. I don't see any team, not even Iowa. And Iowa had a good win today over Penn State. But not even Iowa looks like they could do anything to Georgia. Do y'all have any ideas? Any teams that y'all have seen that could possibly even challenge? I'm not even going to throw out the word beat. I don't think anybody can beat Georgia as of right now. But is there a team out there that could possibly challenge them? Alabama? I don't know. They're not looking good today. I don't think I would ever say that as far as Alabama versus Georgia. But right now, if Georgia and Alabama played on a neutral field, even at Alabama, I think Georgia would just whoop the snot out of them. Update on the Michigan-Nebraska game. Nebraska is beating Michigan just like I thought they would, 22-19, but they still have a full quarter to go. Michigan with the ball. Notre Dame is in some trouble in the fourth quarter. They're down 22-21, 3rd and 6 on my app. I'm not watching it on TV, so y'all might be ahead of me. They're in trouble right now. And then, of course, Alabama. They're in some big trouble right now, 31-17. They do have the ball 1st and 10 on the A&M 32, so they might be able to score a touchdown here in just a second. Ohio State is recovering from that, what now looks like a baffling loss to Oregon, because Oregon lost to Stanford on the road. But they're rebounding quite nicely. They're obliterating everybody right now. Could Ohio State be the team that comes back from a loss and challenge Georgia? It's looking like it. They're burying their opponents. We'll get more of a perspective on Ohio State after they play Penn State, Michigan, and Michigan State. Even a road trip to, who was it? No, they already slammed Rutgers. Never mind. I'm thinking of somebody else. And then what about the crazy game between Arkansas and Ole Miss? Sam Pittman decides to roll the dice on a 2-point conversion at the end of the fourth quarter and misses. He shoots and he misses. Arkansas loses to Ole Miss in a slugfest, in a shootout. Not a slugfest. Disregard that comment. In a shootout. 52-50 freaking 1. Unbelievable. Arkansas, the same team that was... Think about this. Arkansas, the same team that got shut out, blanked against Georgia, put 51 on a pretty decent Ole Miss team. Every game just keeps showing everybody how good Georgia is. And, you know, me and Uncle Lou is a Georgia super fan. Me and him get along. We're not like best friends or anything like that, but me and him do get along. We're not at each other's throat or anything like that. But my goodness, if Georgia keeps rolling everybody and then on top of that wins the national championship, he's going to be insufferable for 365 days. I promise you that. Until Georgia is no longer the national champion, Uncle Lou is going to be insufferable. But I would probably be the same way if West Virginia ever won the national championship. It would probably be tough to watch my shows for an entire year if West Virginia ever won the national championship. So, you know, that's not really looking down on him or anything, but I'm just warning y'all. Whenever Georgia wins the national championship, because it looks like they are, he's going to be insufferable for about 365 days, or whatever exact days in between this year's national championship and next year's national championship. So, warning y'all on that. And then there's my team, West Virginia. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't even know what to say. You know, I did a live show and I streamed that entire game. Well, I didn't stream it. I streamed me watching it, because if I streamed the game, my stream would get taken down. So I streamed me watching the game, okay? So West Virginia gets crushed. And I'm like, man, this was a bad idea. Why did I live stream this? Nobody wants to watch a guy just complain and yell at the TV while his team got crushed. Turned out to be a pretty good live show, actually. I was surprised. Whenever I got off my live show, I already have 1,000 views. I was like, man, I guess people do want to watch a guy yell and scream at the TV while his team gets crushed. So, to all of you that showed up to the live show earlier, I appreciate that. Y'all actually turned a beatdown, a humiliation that my team took, and you turned it into a golden blue dude success. And I even had $50 worth of super chats. I know that's not a crazy amount, but for a live show for me, that's pretty good. I haven't been doing live shows for very long. I was just able to start monetizing back in March, so super chats are not a big thing for me right now. So to make $50 in one live show, I'll take it. That's pretty good. So who knew? You know, your team gets crushed, you're yelling, you're mad, you're complaining pretty much the entire show because your team stunk, and successful live show. How about that? So, you know, the way West Virginia looks, it looks like I'm going to have a successful live show every stinking Saturday now. It is what it is. Talker Spit said, I wanted Sea-Dog to rage when we killed GT. Yeah, he denied everybody that rage video. I was disappointed in that as well. Yeah, he definitely denied you in that. I feel bad for you, Talker Spit. You deserve that. Kuz's Corner, the only thing golden blue dude that was a success today. There you go. There you go. West Virginia on the field was definitely not a success. TND, it's only a game. Why you have to be mad? Really? Okay. In comparison, if Georgia were to... Next week, how about this? Next week, Georgia goes on the field at home to Kentucky, who's not terrible, because Baylor wasn't terrible, but you should beat them. Like I thought we should have beaten Baylor today. And Kentucky beats Georgia by 30 points if you're a Georgia fan. You gonna get mad? Yeah, you gonna get mad. So, you know, tomorrow I'll be better. Monday I'll be better. And by next Friday, I'll be calm. But this is Saturday. This is the day it happened. This is why I call this my Raw Reaction Show. And for this particular show, I called it the Overreaction Show, so you guys would be prepared. This is not a normal Raw Reaction Show. This is going to be me overreacting because of what I saw today on the football field. I don't even know how to put into words what I saw. I don't know what that was. It was garbage. And as a West Virginia fan, a team that wears the flying WV and puts out trash like I saw today, yeah, I don't like it. I didn't like it at all. So here's what needs to happen. Number one, the fans that are saying fire Neil Brown, shut up. That would be the dumbest thing we could do. That would set us back another 2 years. Here's what needs to happen. West Virginia needs to get an offensive coordinator. ASAP. Now, yesterday, 2 weeks ago, beginning of the season, I don't care. Immediately, we need an offensive coordinator. That offensive line is trash, so we need plays that can complement that. Bless his heart, head coach Neil Brown. I know he's doing the best he can, but he's not he's not good at calling plays, okay? Especially on offense. That's got to go. That's got to stop. No. Second thing that needs to happen, Deggy, stop starting him. We don't have the offensive line to give Deggy enough time to complete a forward pass. Yes, he can make plays when he has enough time. We don't have the offensive line to do that. So who do we start? Garrett Green, the guy that can move around and extend plays. Because when you have a trash offensive line like we do, you need a guy that has legs. Jarrett Deggy doesn't have legs. He doesn't. He's like a turtle out there, stuck in the mud. Now, you give him 4 or 5 seconds back there with a good offensive line, he can make plays. He did it last year in 2020. We had a halfway decent offensive line, and, you know, he made some nice plays. Not this year. Not this year. So, start Garrett Green. Get an offensive coordinator and start Garrett Green. Please. Please. End this madness, Coach Neil Brown. Please. Please. It's not good. It's not good for my health. If I end up in the hospital, it's your fault. Gotta get rid of this garbage that we're seeing on the field. All right, I feel a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm doing a quick. Let's see. Alabama did score. It's 31-24, and they do have the ball on their own 43. So maybe that was just a little hiccup. Nebraska is still beating Michigan, but Michigan has the ball 2nd and 6 on the Nebraska 35. And Virginia Tech is still beating Notre Dame by 1. And they have the ball on the Notre Dame 41. So there's your updates for the games that are going on right now. Thanks for reminding me about my vape. I don't even know if I remember to breathe during that rant, much less vape. And Wake Forest, 6-0. So as, what is today? 10:40, October the 9th, the ACC still has a chance to make the playoffs because Wake Forest is still undefeated. They're 6-0. Here's the problem, though. Unless they start jumping Wake Forest massively, even an undefeated Wake Forest ACC champion might need some help to get in, especially if you have an undefeated Cincinnati team out there and a few other undefeated out there, because the strength of schedule is pig slop, to be honest with you. Cincinnati will have a better strength of schedule than Wake Forest. So, yeah, the ACC still has a team that has a chance technically because they're undefeated, but their schedule, their wins are going to look like pig slop, hogwash, whatever you want to call it. Not good. Garbage. Virginia Tech, 4:50 left in the fourth quarter. Virginia Tech 1st and 10 on the Notre Dame 14. If they score here, the game could be over. The game could be over. We'll see. Michigan just scored 26-22. They take the lead. So maybe they can survive that. I don't know. But the gap between Georgia and the rest of college football is baffling. And even with Stetson freaking Bennett, one of the worst college football quarterbacks in the nation. Yes, I said that. Well, one of. Jarrett Nagy is still worse than him, but he's one of them. They're still winning by massive amounts of points. Imagine if a healthy JT Daniels, who was performing the way he was against Cincinnati, was back there. My goodness, they'd be putting 50 on people. It'd be like 50-3 every stinking game. Did you hear whenever they played Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt literally asked the refs to keep a running clock going in the fourth quarter because they said they felt like they were playing an NFL team. They said the Georgia team was so much bigger, so much faster, so much stronger, they felt like they were playing an NFL team. And they wanted the fourth quarter to be a continuous running clock. That's bad. And they lost 69-0. They were tapping out at the end of we're tapping out. We forfeit the fourth quarter, refs. We're done. We're out. They're just beating us up out there. They're bullies. Get us out of here. They tapped out at the end of the third quarter. So that's how dominating Georgia has been. And Ole Miss put up 21 points on Alabama. And really, the reason that Ole Miss got down big to begin with against Alabama is because stupid Lane Kiffin kept going for it on fourth down. He was going for it. It was in the first half. I don't know if it's the first quarter or second quarter. His own 25, something like that. And he was going for it on fourth down. What? Yeah, so they dug themselves a hole. They did end up putting up 21 points. It was a convincing win for Alabama, 42-21. But Ole Miss did put up 21 points. Arkansas barely loses to a team that put up 21 points on Alabama. And Arkansas put up nothing against Georgia. And you can't say, well, one was at home and one was away. No, Georgia played Arkansas at home, and Alabama played Ole Miss at home. So everything was considered equal. So, yeah, if Georgia's not ranked number one this next AP poll, then they have a screw loose. Even if Alabama comes back and beats Texas A&M, they have a screw loose. Georgia is the number one team in the nation. And y'all know me by now. I'm not a Georgia homer. In fact, the first year that I started this YouTube channel, I thought it was 69-0. It might have been 62-0. I don't know. The first year I started this YouTube channel in 2019, Georgia fans were like, man, we have the best team in the nation. We're making the playoffs and we're winning the national championship. I'm like, guys, I am so convinced that Georgia's not making the playoffs that if they do, I will change the name of my show for one full week from Gold and Blue Dude to Red and Black Dude. That was the bet that I had with Georgia fans. And that was in 2019. So I am 100% not a Georgia homer. I just call it the way I see it. And in 2019, Georgia did not have a playoff team. In 2021, not only does Georgia have a playoff team, they have a national championship team. If they don't win the national championship, I will be surprised. Just like last year, Alabama winning the national championship. If they hadn't won the national championship after I had watched them for 5-6 weeks, I would have been shocked. it's in the same category, guys. Same thing as LSU in 2019. After 8 or 9 weeks, if they didn't win the national championship, I would have been shocked. Now, from here on out, Georgia has a easy schedule. Their toughest game is their next game, the home game against Kentucky. And yes, I am counting that neutral game against Florida. I'm counting that. Not a tough game for Georgia. Florida's a fraud this year. I knew Kentucky was better than Florida. I predicted Kentucky to finish second in the SEC East this year. People were calling me crazy. I said, I'm not crazy. I know what I'm talking about. They are the second best team in the SEC East. SEC East. And I even went even further and said Florida's going to fall all the way down to 4th place. Now, that's going to happen, but the thing is, I thought 3rd place was going to be Missouri. 3rd place is going to be Tennessee. And yeah, Florida did beat Tennessee, but dadgum, Tennessee is on a rage right now. They are they flipped a switch somehow. I don't know what they did, but they flipped a switch and they're looking really, really good. And let's see, hold on. They were actually one of my secondary picks because I only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 top 25 teams worth, top 25 games involving top 25 teams worth picking. I wasn't going to pick the Florida blowout. So I picked 4 other games, and one of them was the South Carolina at Tennessee. The spread was Tennessee was favored by 10.5. I laid those points, didn't sweat it, and they didn't let me down. They whooped South Carolina 45-20, so they more than covered the spread. Thank you, Tennessee. By the way, quick update. So far today, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4. Bounce back week so far. Now, having said that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games left. So today is far from over. And it looks like I'm going to lose the Alabama game for sure because Alabama was favored by 18 and I laid the points. But Texas A&M hadn't had an offense up until now. So how was that a bad pick? It's going to look like a bad pick, but it wasn't. I mean, Texas A&M coming into this game 3-2, averaging like 20-some points per game. Alabama averaging like in the 40s, something like that. That looked like an easy bet to me. Of course not. Of course, when I pick Alabama to lay the points, they might actually get beat. But they're definitely not laying the points unless they have like a 4-touchdown fourth quarter, which you never know, could happen. Hopefully it happens. Right now they're down 31-27 with about 14 minutes left, so they are coming back. But I really need them to pour on points, like 4 touchdowns now. 4 touchdowns. That's what I need. Kentucky up 42-21 on LSU. 2:50 to go. That game is over. Missouri bounces back and beats lowly North Texas 48-35. They look bad. And then, of course, the weird game between Arkansas and Ole Miss. Arkansas scores a touchdown with triple zeros on the board. Honestly, that makes me mad because I picked, what was it? I picked Ole Miss 5.5-point favorite, and I laid it. I think somebody was in on that because whenever KJ Jefferson threw that incomplete pass and there was 1 second on the clock, there should have been zeros. I should have won that bet. But because of the stupid clock manager and Sam Pittman going for 2, had he tied it and Ole Miss win it in overtime by scoring a touchdown and Arkansas not being able to score a touchdown, I would have won that bet. Or if it would have been triple zeros when KJ Jefferson threw that incomplete pass, I would have won that bet. So I am convinced that the clock manager was in on that bet and Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman, because whether they win or lose by 1 point, that's a win if you took the points. So, yeah, call me crazy, whatever, I don't care, but they were in on it. For sure. In on that. And today, Oklahoma became a legitimate playoff contender for the first time this year. First 4 games, no, not a playoff contender. This year, or this game against Texas, today, they switched quarterbacks while they were down 28-7. So if they were to start, imagine this, okay? So let's do the math real quick. All right, so you still got to take off 7 for them. So that's, what, 48 and 28. So if you would have started, yeah, that's right. If you would have started Caleb Williams at the beginning of the game, at minimum, Oklahoma wins 48-20, if not more, scoring more points. Yeah, 48-20. So look for a completely different Oklahoma team from here on out. I know it looks like they barely beat Texas, but they put Caleb Williams in. Well, I think Spencer Rattler scored a touchdown. Maybe it was 28-14, so 48-28, whatever. But still, from here on out, Oklahoma is going to score a crap ton of points. We have 42 people in the chat. Do me a favor real quick. Hit the like button. Not to say you like the show or pat me on the shoulder. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Gets it suggested. Gets more people in here. More fan bases. More trash talk. Love it. Gator Hater Null Nation is in the house. I haven't seen you in a while. I appreciate you stopping by. I think Florida State beat North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think North Carolina came back on Florida State. Let me double check that. Yes. Florida State did beat North Carolina 35-25. North Carolina down the toilet they go. Florida State with their second win of the year against North Carolina. Had second year in a row, Florida State, for whatever reason, has North Carolina's number. Mike Brown cannot beat Florida State. Can't beat him. I don't know why, but whatever. TND says it's official. North Carolina is worth worse. Dadgummit, can't even say that. North Carolina is worse than Jacksonville State. I'm going to agree with you for the time being. How about that? GBD, what's your score for Pitt, North Carolina? I do think North Carolina bounces back a little bit, but not enough to beat Pitt. I'm going to say Pitt wins that game. I'm going to go Pitt 45, North Carolina 31. I do think North Carolina will put up some points, but not enough. For whatever reason, they don't play Florida State very well. But it's not going to be a bounce back enough to beat Pitt. That's not happening. John Park, we kick some Kansas butt. The problem for West Virginia, as far as whenever we get to kick Kansas butt, number one, it's at the end of the year. Number two, it's at Kansas. Texas Tech is a terrible team, and they beat us at home 23-20. If we come out and score 0 points in the first half against Kansas like we did against Texas Tech, we can lose to Kansas. I know that sounds crazy, but okay, so seriously, here we go. Prime example. Let me pull this score up. So, Texas Tech, after a wonderful win against West Virginia, at home against Texas Tech, they go back to getting blown out 52-31. Now, the week before they beat West Virginia, they get blown out on the road by Texas 70-35. So, yes, Texas Tech, was the second worst team in the Big 12. Now they're probably the third worst team in the Big 12. And West Virginia has to worry about losing to Kansas at the end of the year, which is crazy because we did beat Virginia Tech at home. How in the world did we beat Virginia Tech? Now I'm totally confused. How did we beat Virginia Tech and only lose to Maryland by 6. It's not making any sense. Marshall wanted that. I don't care about them enough to keep up with that. So we're still whether we go 2-10 this year is irrelevant. We're still 12-0 against Marshall. They are not a rival. Anyways, give me a second, guys. It's been a long day. Long freaking day. So yeah, that's the reason why West Virginia needs to start Garrett Green, because our offensive line sucks and Jarrett Doege cannot extend plays. That's not me saying that Garrett Green is a better quarterback than Jarrett Doege. I still think Doege is the better quarterback. But we have a bad offensive line and Doege can't move around enough to get away from the pressure. So, by reason of insanity, we have a trash offensive line, so we have to start Garrett Green. It has to happen. If we had a good offensive line, then I would say Doege, yes. He can throw the ball better than Garrett Green, but not on the run. Garrett Green can throw the ball better while having to run for his life. And with that offensive line, our quarterback has to run for their life. So put in the quarterback that can actually run for his life. Yes, we suck today, period. I've said that like 1,000 times. Yes, that's a fact. West Virginia looked like garbage on the field. That's why I'm mad. But I'm saying in the future, if we want a chance in these games, we have to put in the guy that gives us the best chance. And because our offensive line is trash, Garrett Green is the quarterback that gives us the best chance because he can get away from that pressure. Doege's getting sacked like 6-7 times a game. I'm not even exaggerating. That's like a statistic that we're going through. Statistic. I can't say that word. I just was thinking ahead. Promise you, I can say that word. Statistic. There you go. I can say it. And don't people starting this crap that Holgerson is better because I see you, Fireball. Call Holgerson back. He was better than Brown. No, shut up. Stop. No, he wasn't better. The problem is Neil Brown was left with less talent than any coach before him except for Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden may have inherited a worse team when he took the job at West Virginia. But Don Nehlen inherited a better team than what Neil Brown did. I think he had like 7 or 8 future NFL guys on his team whenever he took over. Rich Rodriguez definitely had more. He had like 8 or 9. Bill Stewart, crap ton, like 10. And then Holgerson, like 7 or 8. Neil Brown inherited 2 guys that went on to the NFL. 2 in his first year. Maybe 3 with Darius Steele. We'll see. But other than that, crap. We have been in rebuild mode. Now, the problem is, he gave us hope last year because we had a much better year. So we were expecting an even better. But the problem is, we still don't have the talent for that big leap. But we bought into it because of last year. This year's not the year to fire Neil Brown. Okay? That would set us back another 2 or 3 years. We got to grit and bear this year out and then see what happens next year. Now, if we don't take a massive step forward next year, that's when you start thinking about firing Neil Brown, because the recruiting class that we're getting for next year is unfreaking believable. Arguably the best recruiting class we've ever had. So we got to get that offensive coordinator in here ASAP. You can give me all the facts you want or say whatever you want. No, firing Neil Brown is not the answer. Not at all. And no, he's not a worse coach than Holgorsen. Just stop that. This year sucks. What we're seeing is garbage, especially from last game and this game. Before that, it was like, oh, crap. One play away, And then last week, we were one play away, but we lost to a bad Texas Tech. And then this week, complete garbage. If you would have rewound 2 weeks ago, hey, 2-2, barely lost to Oklahoma by 3. We're good to go this year. We'll get to a bowl, maybe 8-4, something like that. 2 games changed our mind. Come on, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's called knee-jerking. We can't do that. So, I don't know if y'all have watched my college football playoff stock market video yet. But tomorrow I will actually update that after all the games are played. Okay, so here we go. Georgia started off good playoff stock. It has gone through the roof. Their playoff stock is better than anybody's. Next down, Alabama. It's been holding steady because Alabama is Alabama. But tomorrow, I might be making a video where their playoff stock has gone down either a little bit or a lot of it, depending on if they beat Texas A&M. But the damage is already done. It's going down somewhat. It's been holding steady, but it is going down somewhat. Penn State, they lost to a good Iowa State team. They had the lead. I think it was 2 touchdowns. Iowa comes back. Did I say Iowa State? Scratch that. Not Iowa State, Iowa. Number 3, Iowa. So their playoff stock took a steady decline today. Iowa, on the other hand, an incline. Cincinnati, they're at an all-time high as far as their playoff stock. They are actually in my top 4 right now. Michigan, steady incline, but if they lose to Nebraska, decline. Michigan State, incline. They're going to be a top 10 team this next AP poll. Ohio State, big bounce back. They're looking better and better. Where was this team against Oregon? So they're having a good incline. And Oklahoma, their playoff stock increased massively today. Caleb Williams is turning that offense into what we're used to seeing with Oklahoma. BYU doesn't have a playoff stock anymore. They lost to Boise State. Notre Dame is steadily declining. If they lose to Virginia Tech, they won't have a playoff stock anymore. Oklahoma State is trying to sneak their way into the playoff picture. So their playoff stock, they actually have one, and it's steady. It's little, but it's there. Kentucky, they have a playoff stock. It's been increasing, but they're probably going to take a butt whooping next week and fall off a cliff. Wake Forest, tiny playoff stock, increasing though. I don't really think Coastal Carolina has one. And what little hope Auburn had fell off a cliff. So there you go. There's the update. I'd love to stay on with you guys forever, but it's time for me to get off this show. And I'm actually really hungry too. Starting to get the shakes. And I think yelling and complaining and losing my breath didn't help. So, yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed this live show. I enjoyed it. Venting my frustration, yelling, not at y'all, but at my team, and utter frustration, guys. But I warned y'all with the title, with the Overreaction title, so y'all knew it was coming. So, there you go. Y'all have a good rest of your Saturday. If your team won, yay for you, congratulations. But if your team lost like mine, there's always next week. But unfortunately for West Virginia, probably not. We'll probably get stomped again. It is what it is. Y'all take care. Look out for my video tomorrow. If you came across this stream, you're not If you came across this stream and you're not a subscriber, give it a shot. Hit the subscribe button. 15 straight months. I have not missed a single day with making videos every single day, at least one video. So, yep, tomorrow, another video. So, give it a try. Hit the subscribe button. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing. And if you haven't joined my Patreon guest score prediction, all you have to do is go to my Patreon page and join it. My blue membership, 1 guest prediction per week. Gold membership, 2 guest predictions per week. Champion membership, 4 guest predictions per week. The person that gets closest to the score wins $20. So far I've given out. Crap! Now I got to do math. Hold on. 20 times 5. I've given out $100 on the dot. I've given out $100. It'll be 120 after today. There you go. So, and you can win as many times as you want. It's not like you win it one time and you're done for the rest of the season. And you don't have to wait till the end of the season to get your prize. You get it this week. So, give it a shot. See if you can do it and win yourself $20. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Well, I won't really see you tomorrow. I'll make a video tomorrow for you to see. You'll see me tomorrow. How about that? Y'all have a good night. See me tomorrow. And next live show, Wednesday. Probably going to move it back. So we'll shoot for 7. It might be 8, but probably 7. And it will be a call-in show. Sorry, tonight wasn't a call-in show. It was more of a venting, frustration type of show. Wednesday night will be a call-in show. I think that's it. Let me double check. Yeah. So y'all have a good night and see me tomorrow on my video.